A sewing machine is the easiest way to sew on a button. You'll notice that button openings or holes are about the same width. So you actually have on your sewing advisor a button feature, technique number 8. So when you go there, it will take you to the buttonhole stitch menu. Pick stitch 16. We also heard the feed dogs drops because they are lowered. Makes for a little bit more room for the button to be inside or underneath the foot, and they're not coming up and kind of bouncing on the back side of the button. You also see there is a tool that is your multi-purpose tool shown on the screen, and there is no foot. So I'm going to show you how to do this first without this tool, and then we'll do it with it. So also on the screen is a ×8 right here. This indicates that it's going to go back and forth 8 times before it locks and cuts. So you can increase that to be higher or lower if you prefer, but 8's actually a nice amount. So we'll remove the foot. We use this ankle to come down and sit on our button. Notice right now the needle is hanging out on the left-hand side. So you want to hand turn the needle down into a left hole. Once the needle's down there, it will hold the button. Then touch the foot down function, and that will lower the ankle onto the button. Now that could be a little tricky for a button that's really, really small, but definitely fairly easy for most buttons. I do want to test the swing of this zigzag. It's set for a 3mm wide jump, which, like I said, is about the same size most buttons are cut for. So once the needle has been in one hole and it clears the second hole, you can step on the foot control or push the start-stop button, and you will find that it will go back and forth the 8 times, lock, and then use the selective thread cutter to cut. Now this happens to be a 4-hole option. Oops, I got a little thread down underneath, so we can just X out of that. And so we could just come over to, or kind of move the foot back and stitch the other one. So this will allow us to just come back here and repeat. What I do want to show you is how to add a little bit or a shank of thread by using the multi-purpose tool here. So the thread, by setting the button on the thickness, remember this has a thin side and a thick side. I'm going to do the thin side. These buttons don't need too much of a distance. And then we'll do the same thing where we lower the needle down into a left hole, lower the presser foot onto the button, and then I'm going to go ahead and test this jump. This button, oh, yeah, actually it looks good. And then we can go back and forth here and cut at the end. So now it has a little bit more distance between button and fabric for the item you're actually going to be buttoning onto it. You need a little bit of opening. Now Husqvarna Viking does make a button sew-on foot, which I absolutely love. It has a little place you just slide the button into the foot holds it, and you have a little option for a pin to create that shank of thread. And then it just goes back and forth. It's actually really super simple. So whether you use a foot or without a foot, and your multi-purpose tool, sewing on buttons is simple.